KTR. I'm so happy that you joined us. I'm so happy that you joined us. Right here on Kayfabe Talk Radio. I'm on here with Eric the Red and your other host J.R. Earl. Here we are talking about wrestling.
Listening to Kayfabe Talk Radio. Kayfabe Talk Radio.
Alright, everybody. Kayfabe Talk Radio back in the house. I am Eric the Red, joined along with, as always.
Thank you very much. This is J.R. Earls, and
you blew your spot.
Oh, well, it kept going out.
Bonesaw!
Bonesaw is ready. No, not really. No, sorry, my headphone, the output was kind of fucked up. Yeah, I broke kayfabe.
Good job.
That's okay.
Bye, guys.
It's
alright, it's alright, that's alright. We won't,
I got past the break that you do!
That's okay. We're not going to fire him or anything like that. I mean, we're not like Vince McMahon. If the microphones don't work, he doesn't bitch at you.
God damn it!
Damn it! I can't hear myself. Oh my God! Did you guys? I don't know how well you guys remember Raw. You know, from back in the day. Eric, especially you, would probably recall this, but I had it on video, so that's why I remember it so well. Because I used to tape, Monday Night Raws because they were so good. Especially Vince's antics and shit during the Attitude Era. But the night after Austin won the belt at WrestleMania 14, Vince comes out, and they are so loud that Vince literally cannot hear himself in the monitors. And he gets this chicken neck type way he's talking to the sound guy, and asking him if the microphones are working. And it's like, the microphones were fine, Vince. It's just the fans are drowning you out. All they wanted to hear or see was Stone Cold Steve Austin. And they didn't give two shits what Vince had to say. And it was just literally hilarious just to watch him go around and wonder why he couldn't hear himself and that the mics weren't working. And finally he gets some kind of word in edgewise and goes, "You guys are so loud," and of course the crowd goes even louder. And it was just awesome.
Well, that's also, maybe it was also how much heat he had.
Oh yeah, he had tons of heat, but I mean, they were just literally drowning him out. And I think what it was is he was supposed to bring Austin out as the new champion and do all that stuff, but it got shit canned because the fans were just basically booing him and chanting him out of the crowd and out of the ring. So Vince leaves. They come out, they do their first match, they get all that stuff done. Later on in the show, this might have been what started it. They bring Austin out, he's got the belt, all that kind of bullshit, and they present the new belt to Austin, that blue belt with the big eagle on it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he literally threw it at Vince's feet, and I think it hurt his ankle or something, because those belts are not lightweight, those things are pretty heavy. And he gets the new belt and all that shit, but it was actually really funny. But I think they kind of learned their lesson about bring Austin out and then bring out the villain, bring out McMahon or somebody. That way at least they can get some kind of word in edgewise when they're cutting their promo. So it was pretty funny, I don't know.
I remember the belt part. Like, I remember the belt getting thrown.
Yeah, remember he throws it at Vince's feet and shit? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. So, let's see. Well, also, guys, the reason why we opened up with Elvis today was because it's the 40th anniversary of, unfortunately, the passing of Elvis.
Yep.
And I know it's not wrestling related, we all know, but Bubby over here is a big Elvis fan, so that's.
I am, you know, and you know, you sent me some stuff a while back, you know, for Ma, and you know, through a trade, and I really appreciate it. And I still have all of it, believe it or not, and I still have the things that you've given me over the years of Elvis, you know, because I'm also a fan, grew up with it in the house, and yeah, man, I mean, Elvis was a big part of my life, still is, and of course, you know, my kids don't dig on it very, you know, they're dead, so old, and that kind of shit, but, you know.
I would have thought you would have been like a huge Honky Tonk fan.
Believe it or not, dude, he was a dirty word in our house, man, growing up. My mother hated him, and it was the one time that she really stood behind Ricky when he lost the belt to Honky Tonk, because she couldn't stand Elvis Presley impersonators. She was one of those. Let me tell you, and this is funny, and I thought it was just her, but a diehard Elvis Presley fan from back in the day, it's like, well, I guess it's like today's, if you have a fandom of somebody, but you couldn't talk bad about the person in any way. And it's documented that Elvis Presley was a huge pussy hound, you know? He loved women, and of course women loved him, and that's just the way it was. But if we're watching a movie, or especially a documentary or something like that about Elvis, what was that one about Johnny Cash? Walk the Line.
Yeah.
Well, in that movie, it depicts Elvis, you know, getting laid and taking pills and stuff that everyone knew Elvis did, okay? And my mom would get really angry about anyone, at anyone that would say things like, you know, about Elvis's vices and the things that he did. I mean, he did it, but she never ever would go along with that, and hearing someone say anything bad about him. Okay, well, you know, it is what it is. You're a fan, that's fine. Well, fast forward a couple of years, and I joined my church's choir, and the lady who ran the choir, who also unfortunately passed, her name was Carla, she was as big an Elvis fan as my mother was, to the point where when Elvis would come to Charleston in the 60s and the 70s, she went to every concert. Okay, so she actually got to see Elvis in concert. And I was talking to her about my mom's proclivities and the way she felt about Elvis. And I said, well, it's just really funny. I mean, everyone knows Elvis Presley was like this, and she got as mad as my mom used to. And, and I'm just like, I'm going to get cussed out in a fucking church by the choir director. You know, I mean, that was my only thought process, you know, and I'm just like, holy shit, man, just don't talk shit about Elvis, whatever you do.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, Elvis did die 40 years ago today, and,
on the toilet.
Well, actually, no, do you know that's not true?
Are you sure? I thought it was, I thought it was true.
He died, okay, let me explain. Elvis Presley was found in his bathroom at Graceland, but he was not on the toilet. Elvis had a barber's chair that he liked to read in, and he would read. It was in his bathroom because Elvis had a big fucking bathroom at Graceland. Oddly enough, it's not. The public can't go in there. It's in the upstairs part. There are 2 floors to Graceland. The bottom floor people are allowed to tour in. The upstairs is closed off forever. No one but family and staff can go up in the second floor. Anyway, the maid went in that morning, and she found him slumped over in his reading chair. He had bitten through his tongue. He had a massive heart attack, and I guess a seizure. And he had bitten through his tongue, and he was long dead before she found him. But that's where the whole myth about Elvis dying on the toilet came from. He actually died in his bathroom, but not on the toilet.
I get that makes sense.
Yep. Yep, that's where he died. And again, I only know all this shit because my mother would watch every fucking piece of Elvis info that came down the fucking pike. But to be fair, she had to put up with everything I wanted to, hear about Ricky Steamboat or G.I. Joe or God knows whatever else I was into when I was a kid. So, turnabout's fair play.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
She had to hear about all the other bullshit I was into, so I had to listen to that. So, but it was okay. Elvis could sing.
Right.
I mean, I'm just asking. I mean, are you? I mean, I know you guys really probably aren't real big fans, but I'm sure you grew up with some of it, especially you, Eric, because your dad's a musician.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, my mom was more of an Elvis fan than really my dad. But I mean, but at the same time, there's the respect factor. But it's not like, hey, let me own like all the albums and all that. He's just never really got into that. Like my dad was more of the Beatles.
They were also a dirty word in my house.
Really?
Well, according to my mom, and of course this is not true, but according to my mom, that they tried to, boot Elvis out of the spotlight with the British invasion, but that wasn't true because Elvis was like, I made my money, I don't care, So, and he didn't, because he was at that point he was already into making movies and less about the music, more about Hollywood and movies, and so, he didn't really care. And when he did his '68 special, the '68 comeback. He said right there on the program that he liked the Beatles and he liked the sound of the new sounds that are coming out and stuff. So, he didn't care. But anyway, let's talk about wrestling because we're starting to drift into other shit here. And
yeah, we're drifting a lot. But I guess let's address the big story of this week. Flair's in a coma.
Well, medically induced coma.
Yeah, a lot. I read it a little before. We went live. Pretty much, he was supposed to have some colon surgery, and he's reported to also have because he has a blockage there, and then it's also reported that he has some kidney failure as well, which we all know what that's from.
Glug glug glug.
The guy that's synonymous with the with the alcohol Grey Goose. So.
Woo!
I don't care who you are. You don't go out there and elbow drop your jacket being sober.
Yeah.
Here in Charleston, there used to be a bar across the street from the Civic Center where the boys would always come to WCW, would always wrestle there, right? And the bar was named Joey's. And it was famous, man, for like their ribs, and of course it was a bar. But Ric Flair, that was the only place he would go and party after the show when he came to Charleston. So everyone knew that's where Ric Flair was going to be, and the stories about him at Joey's are legendary. He would literally close the bar down. And I don't mean like people would be kicked out and it would be just him and his friends. No, I mean he would go in after the show, after he got showered and changed, and would not leave until the bar was closed. And we're talking 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And it was just one of those things with, that's how Flair was. When he would come to Charleston, of course, now the bar has since closed down. It's changed owners and it's changed names and everything, but that was his hot spot, and everyone knew. And the funny thing was, the bouncers all knew not to let the marks in because he didn't want to be bothered. He didn't want to sign autographs. He just wanted to go in, drink, and have a good time.
Right.
And people would, if you walked in there and you had something that even looked like a piece of paper, the bouncers would stop you. I mean, they couldn't stop people from coming in to drink, but they would just, if you approached the wrestlers, or if you would try and get autographs, or worse, start a fight, which that happened a couple times here, because you get some drunk rednecks, and that wrestling ain't real, and and then they show you how real it is, and 10 seconds later, 30 seconds later, there's an ambulance being called.
To the window.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I'm more than once, man. The best one I remember hearing about, and this was probably my favorite story. I don't know why anyone would choose to fuck with him, but Dr. Death Steve Williams.
Oh, you don't fuck with him.
Right? Right? And this was at the height of the oh God, help me guys. What was the name? What was the thing with Kevin Sullivan?
The Dungeon of Doom.
No. Further back. They all wore college shit. What the fuck was that called?
Varsity Club.
The Varsity Club. This was at the height of that, okay? So this is like the height of the 80s, and Kayfabe is still very much alive and kicking. And what it was, this is back when the boys would still travel separately, okay? But they would still go to Joey's together because who gave a fuck, right? It was the best bar in town. Flair recommended it. Flair was the champion, so he didn't give a shit. And this was back when that belt was huge and beautiful, and Flair would carry it everywhere he went because he was a mark, which is fantastic. But anyway, so one night they're there after a show, okay? And Steve Williams is there, and he's knocking them bitches back, you know, one beer after another, and we're talking big beer mugs full of beer. We're talking Oktoberfest big beer mugs full of beer. Yep. And he's sitting there with Dusty, and he's Nikita, and I mean everybody's in the bar, right? I'm not name dropping. I'm just telling you who was there. Magnum TA was there. This was right before his accident. So Bubba the drunk redneck drinks a bunch of liquid courage, and he gets up and he walks over, and he literally was like, "So y'all are wrestlers, huh?" And I mean, and he's talking to guys like, you know, fucking Nikita Koloff is sitting there, and there's fucking Steve Williams is sitting there. I'd have been shitting my pants, and rightfully so. And he goes, "Well, that shit's all fake." And he took his shot glass and he threw it in Steve Williams's face.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
What happened next, I can only describe as pornographic. Because Steve Williams literally got up and have you ever heard the story with Jim Cornette where Steve Williams hit a guy? And if you hit him with a closed fist, you could hurt him?
Right.
Okay, this guy, Steve hit him with a closed fist. And from what I understand, if the guy is still alive, he probably dribbles whenever he smiles. Because he hit him so hard, it took him off of his feet and out of his shoes.
Shit.
And it was just BAM! And it was over. And the report goes, Williams sat back down and said, "Yep, it's fake." And kept drinking. So, yeah.
Oh, man.
It was just funny. I mean, I love when stories like that happen, you know, because it's just like, yeah, bitch, don't fuck with a wrestler. You know, it's like when Vince McMahon put what's his name, the doctor, whatever the fuck, you know, the one that beat up the news guy.
Oh, the PN News.
Yeah, no, the news reporter.
What the fuck? Dr. David Schultz and John
Yeah,
Stossel.
And yeah, him. You know, Vince put Schultz up to that. He's going. Hey, whatever he says, he's gonna call it fake. Show him how fake it really is. You know, because Schultz came out and said all that later, and it was confirmed by a couple of different sources. So I guess it's true that Vince. But why wouldn't Vince do that? You know.
Right.
For business he claims to hate. So. Anyway, but. That's just, I just love stories like that, and that it just makes me smile because I'm just like, yeah, wrestling's fake, you know, sure it is, you know. I hate when people say that.
That's like 2/3 of every internet comment on Facebook when there's anything wrestling related.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, but you watch a TV show and. What are you gonna go on like with The Walking Dead or Game of Thrones and go, oh, it's fake?
Right? Yeah.
Like,
it's like
no shit, it's fake. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody past 1989 doesn't know it's a work, Bubby. And
exactly.
Like, what are you telling me? What is this magical new new? It's like is this a new story? It's like, oh, wrestling is fake. Everybody knows.
Yeah, it's like the words of Danny Ray. Well, no shit. Of course it's a show. I once had this guy. Oh, you guys are gonna love this. This guy tried to appeal to my intellectual nature, okay, or the intellectual side of my brain. He's like, look, think about it this way, JR, because this is back when I just got into the business and everything, and he'd heard about it, and I won't even mention his name because he's a dick. Anyway, he goes, these guys are filming a television program. I said, okay. He goes, well, they have to make sure that they're okay for the next time they record, right? So of course it's going to be staged and all this and this and that, and I'm going, okay, keep talking. All the while I'm just laughing at him, going, really, if you had any idea how fucking retarded you sound. But nothing was worse than that asshole that used to be married to my mom that used to beat her up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Pat knows that. My mom, unfortunately, before she married my dad, was married to a very abusive asshole who also knew everything. He was one of those know-it-all type people.
Yeah.
And one night they're watching wrestling at their house, and because my mom was always a fan, and the guy starts to bleed, and of course, my mom, who believed wrestling was real to her core. I mean, she was just one of the fans that got into it and believed it was real, and and that's fine. I mean, back in those days, you were supposed to believe it was real. So they're watching the show, and the guy starts to bleed. I think she said it was Moose Cholak, who, that makes a lot of sense, because Moose Cholak was one of those rough and tumble wrestlers that would bleed a lot. And Mr. Know-It-All goes, well, you know how they do that, don't you? And she's like, no, how do they do that? And he goes, well, there's a school up in the Northeast where you go to learn it, and what they do, and I swear to God, Eric, don't laugh, with a straight face, he goes, they pound you in the forehead repeatedly over and over again until your skin becomes really, really thin. and that way it's easier to open up. Yeah.
Was he a piece of steak?
I guess.
That makes no fucking sense. And if you're getting pounded in the head repeatedly, you're gonna have some type of brain damage at a certain point. Also, that's not how skin works. The more you hit skin, the tougher and harder it becomes, because it's basically trying to protect your blood. So. Yep. You're gonna callus, so you're gonna have like a big fucking lump on your head rather than having.
Yeah. Oh, but he knew it all, And it was, and honestly, Mom didn't know any better but to believe him. And it wasn't until I got into the business, and I was like, Ma, that's not how. What the fuck are you talking about? And she's like, well, I said, no, Ma, it's done with a razor blade. And she goes, what? You cut yourselves? I said, yeah. It's not a big cut. It's like a little scratch. I said the scalp will bleed, especially if you drink enough beer and take enough aspirin.
Yeah, you just you do a little nick.
Yeah.
And the blood just comes right out because it's the top of your head.
Exactly. And whatever you do, don't pull a Joey Austin. He drank like a pony pack and took like 16 aspirin the first time he ever gigged, and almost bled to death.
Oh my God.
His blood was as thin as water, Pat. It was the funniest shit. And the worst part was, I told Eric, I don't know if I've ever told you. I was Sir Alfred, right?
Yeah.
And Joey's out there, and I was the manager of the guy, and Joey brought his girlfriend, who was not smartened up. She had no clue. All she knew is that behind the scenes, me and Joey were best friends. She had no clue that out there in front of God and everyone, we hated each other because Joey was the babyface, I was the heel. That's how it worked. And okay, so I'm the one that has to crack Joey in the head with a steel chair to make it look like I busted him open. Well, everything was going great. Everything was going great. And I mean great, great, great. until I whacked Joey as hard as I could, because he told me to, over top of the head, scrambling what brains he had. He comes up, and he is literally just crimson mask all over his face, from a little tiny nick, by the way. Like you were saying, just a little tiny nick. And blood was everywhere. And she had to be held by the other girlfriends of the boys to keep from coming out and killing me.
That's perfect. Oh my god.
I got in his ear and I said, "Didn't you smarten her up?" He went, "I forgot." So I hit him again.
I forgot.
And that one I actually, the first one I pulled it. The second time I was trying to kill him. So, but yes.
God, you must have had so much heat on you just from the crowd, just seeing her flip out.
Dude, it was yeah, but the worst part is she was calling me by my shoot name. She wasn't calling me Alfred. She was, JR, God damn it, I'm gonna fucking kill you, and I'm like, shut the fuck up, you know. But yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry it was JR. I'm sorry it wasn't what the initials really are.
Oh, John Russell.
Yeah, John Russell.
She knew, because the thing is, me and her went to grade school, and not grade school, junior high school together in high school. We knew each other longer than her and Joey knew each other, and so she knew me for like 15 years, and she's like, "I'm gonna kill you, JR," and I was like, "Shut the fuck up!" And I got in his ear, and I did. I was like, "Asshole, did you fucking smarten her up?" And he goes, "I forgot," and I said, "Oh, okay, well you remember this time," and I fucking cracked him again. Son of a bitch. I'll tell you, the second time his eyes crossed. I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. Anyway, so what's going on in the world of the World Wrestling Federation? I mean, World Wrestling Entertainment.
Well, let's see. The joke that we, well, he is a fucking joke. The guy, Baron Corbin, who has the briefcase, lost it last night. He tried cashing in. They did. The main event was, I didn't watch it yet, but I knew it was Jinder Mahal against CENA, and Corbin goes to cash in. Jinder Mahal does a roll-up to Baron Corbin, and boom, the briefcase is gone.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's why I love SmackDown. That's why I you know what, that's why, you know what, as bad as the last pay-per-view was, yeah, I'd still say SmackDown's a superior brand for shit like this.
Yes, but the one thing I didn't like was that how fucking like they made the briefcase just look like a waste of time. Like, why even bother?
That's not the first time they've done it. You know, I guess they were just using it maybe as a swerve.
Oh yeah.
No, but it
you
makes sense, because in a way it does make sense, because then it's like, oh well, you know, it's not everyone that wins the belt. I mean, not every person that wins the briefcase. I mean, the contract. I'm sorry.
Right. Yeah.
You gotta say contract now because Vince.
Oh yeah, he doesn't like the word briefcase.
That's a thing. Really?
That's the
yes.
thing, yeah.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Vince doesn't want to be being referred to as a briefcase anymore. He wants it just to be the contract, because the contract is the thing you cash in.
Too bad it's a physical briefcase, you numbnuts.
Right.
Vince is, and I said this before, when he named the pay-per-view Great Balls of Fire, he's like, he's a little bit more, like, he's a couple years away from going full-blown dementia.
Well, he already forgot, I don't blame him, that Luke Gallows was Festus, so, you know, I think he's on his way there.
Yeah,
I don't know how the hell you could ever forget the character. I mean, you know, come on.
Well, no, he remembers the character. He just forgot that it was Luke Gallows. He thought it was somebody else.
All right. You know, it's funny. We were actually in the store the other day, and we were grocery shopping, and I asked Stacy what she wanted, and she said that Jack wanted something for breakfast, and she goes, "Hey, how about biscuits and gravy?"
Oh, no.
She did, and I was like, "You need to stop." So.
Oh God.
Yeah.
But we gotta bring this up. Baron Corbin, which I don't think this is the reason why he lost the briefcase, but I do think you know, like you said, it was just a swerve. But this happened over the past week. So Dave Meltzer, who we all know about, and me and Pat have actually kind of critiqued him a little bit for the whole 6-star rating.
No. I've critiqued him because he fucking, rather than just say, oh, you know, it's another 6-star. That's 6.25.
It's 5 stars, leave it alone. If it was a great match, it was a great match. There's no 6-star, that's whatever. But, but we will never discount, you know, all he's done in the business. No one can dispute that. So, he critiqued Corbin and saying that Corbin is the example for WWE's fetish with tall guys. And, which pretty much was exploiting that this guy just, you know, is the drizzling shits in the ring. Can't talk, fucking mediocre in the ring. And Baron goes to say, what matches and promos has Dave Meltzer done? Oh, none. He is an old man who can never do what anyone on the roster can or could.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
To which Dave Meltzer says, nothing says secure like a wrestler doing the you never took a bump and then blocks you in your comeback.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that's blocking someone, first of all, is so petty.
Just mute them. If you don't hear what they said, just mute them.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to block them, just mute them. It's no big.
I mean, you could have been, you know, if you're a talented guy and you can, you know, I don't know, make a decent comeback, I would have said, yeah, I'm tall. And I would have made it into a joke. I would have been like, yeah, I'm tall. And I have other big things, too.
Right, yeah.
Like,
Or yeah, I'm tall, and by the way, the weather's fine. Thanks for asking.
That's a dad joke.
That, or he could have just simply not even fucking paid attention to Meltzer.
It's weird that he did, because a lot of people don't.
It's insecurity. Insecurity.
Yeah,
He's insecure. Because Baron Corbin strikes me as a guy that's insecure.
Oh, so, you saw his face when CENA... Oh, God. We gotta show... we have to show... JR, did you see that episode of SmackDown last week?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna show you the...
I was actually... Believe it or not, I was actually out of town.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he has to see this now.
Oh, I wasn't doing anything, you know, con related. I was just we were trying to find Spirit Halloween, and apparently they haven't opened yet, but they're opening this week. So anyway.
Oh yeah. I saw that. I saw those pictures. But all right. So basically, what happened with this guy was so they're doing a program with CENA and Baron on for Sunday, and we'll get into the predictions later in the show. But what went on here was
no, let him watch the video itself.
Oh, by the way, I've been waiting to tell you guys this, so it'll be organic. I wanted to surprise you guys. School is back in session. My boys are in school, so now I can be on here whenever we do the show during the day, without having to worry about cutting it early or leaving or something like that. So, for the time being, guys, I'm back full time.
Real nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, surprise. Anyway, so this is it. All right, I'm gonna pull it up and look at this.
Do you want me to play the audio on here?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's at 6. It's at 2:13.
Go to the 2:13. Okay.
All right.
Right now, I'm waiting for the gold peak T ad to leave. So.
Just pause it if you could.
Sorry.
Give me 1 second here. I'm gonna go ahead and at least get it started here. All right. And you said go to 2:13, yes?
2:13.
All right. Let me know when you're there.
I'll be there in 2 seconds. All right. Go ahead.
All right. Hang on, for some reason I'm not getting YouTube audio. I don't know why. Hang on. Shit, I'm not getting.
I
It's not letting me play it.
I like how they revived the Wolfpack wolf on the guy's shirt.
Nah.
Did you notice that?
Yeah, but he's doing it to think he thinks he's fucking badass by wearing that. It's
That's actually 201. Sorry, it was a little bit before that.
Oh, 201?
Yeah, 201.
Yeah.
All right, hold up.
All right.
All right,
It's
I'm getting
not.
there.
All right. It's not letting me. Hang on. You know what?
Oh, wait. Oh, I'm almost there. Yes! Yes! Okay. No, but that's the same wolf from the Wolfpack shirt. And with all the, I'm just from pointing it out, with all the runes and shit on his shirt and the whole end of days thing, he's pulling off a thing about Ragnarok.
Really?
Yeah, Ragnarok.
You couldn't get the thing there, though. There's no,
In the story of Ragnarok, Odin is killed by Fenris, which is the giant wolf. I'm just...
Oh, shit.
I'm sorry, I was just... Don't be fooled by the movie. The movie, that's just...
No, I know. I know. I know about the Norse mythology.
All right, cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was really into it when I was a kid, and
yeah, like the whole what was it? The giant snake. What was the name of that?
Oh God, you're making me think.
There was a giant snake that was.
There's a giant snake. It's
world serpent.
Yeah,
World
and
serpent.
it's yeah, it's going to kill Thor, and well, I think they're going to kill each other, kind of like in the big battle and shit. But anyway, so 201, here I am.
All right, yeah, it's not letting me play on my end, but you'll be able to hear it. Yep.
That's hilarious.
Yep. And then you can see Corbin's face. He's just pretty much trying not to laugh, but yeah.
He's not trying. He looks so pissed off. He doesn't even look like he's trying to laugh. He just looks embarrassed.
He looks embarrassed, and he looks like, the look of panic is clearly on his face.
Like, he doesn't know how to, respond to that, because...
Exactly.
And do
you know why? Because of the way the fucking business is nowadays. He doesn't know what to think, because there's no one telling him what to fucking say. You know? It's like, Jesus Christ, man.
Honestly, I think CENA doesn't like the guy, and I think he went out of his way to bury the guy, because he saw the sign, and I think the sign was a plant. I think CENA literally just saw the sign and said, you know what, this guy is not going to be the top guy. I think, you know what, to be honest, I think this promo is probably why they decided to do what they did this week.
Don't be fooled, because don't be surprised if that's really why they did it, because that happens, you know, and that happened back in the old days all the time. If one of the boys didn't like you or whatever, believe me, you were never heard or seen again. Especially if they were over. Andre did it a lot.
Because
yeah,
it makes sense, because then when you get into this, he's like, oh, you want to be the top heel in the company. Now, there's a ton of different guys that can, go back at me and, respond and go toe-to-toe on the mic with me. And you want to be the top guy. You're going to be the guy. You have the briefcase, and you want to be the champion. And I'm going to come out here, and sometimes you're going to have a guy who's going to go off script. And that's what CENA did to him. Mm-hmm. And he couldn't respond. He looked like a goof.
Yeah. He did. He really did. I mean, the look on his face was priceless. Because he had that look on his face like, oh shit, what do I say now?
Yeah, exactly. He was just kind of biting, you could see, the pissed off demeanor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. It's boy. Yeah, that's got to be one of the leading reasons why they shit canned him and took away the contract. But Andre would do that a lot too, especially with people he didn't like, and rather he did it backstage than out in the ring when you could get hurt.
Yeah.
In a good way, I am a little irritated because now it's either you're either giving Shinsuke Nakamura the belt too soon, or you're going to have him lose against Jinder.
From what I keep hearing about Nakamura, I think if they don't put him over now, there's no reason to put him over at all.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess SummerSlam, but I feel like I don't know. It's too soon. They're like he only got into like the main event scene maybe 2-3 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and you're pushing this guy too quickly. Like there's no like work up to the belt.
So they don't have like any more of a feud than what's been going on for the last couple of
No,
weeks.
him and Jinder have no feud. He wrestled.
Oh, okay.
He just wrestled for a #1 contender spot against Cena. He beat Cena, and then before that he had a feud with Baron Corbin. So my thoughts were he was gonna go into the match with Jinder. Jinder was just gonna dick around because Jinder's fucking bland. He's got nothing to him. There's no substance. He hangs out with the two freaking. He has racial stereotype 1 and racial stereotype 2, and they go and they usually attack the guy from behind, and he picks up a he'll win. There's nothing to him, and then he just repeats Maharaja like about 50 times, and then that's Jinder Mahal for you. And I thought they were going to go, oh, well, this was a cool experiment. We got our Indian champ to, like, expand the Indian market. It was a cool experiment while it lasted. You're going back to the mid-card to languish with, like, Rusev and the rest of, like, the misfit gimmicks.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. So I don't know if they're going to put, if they do put Nakamura over, do you see him so what you're saying is you're seeing him dropping the belt soon?
No, I think it's like if they put Nakamura over, it's weird because then there's no, how you have certain guys that like they have to. If they were booking him like he's Goldberg, where he's like knocking dudes out like in under a minute, or like at least 2 minutes, and like he's pinning guys, he's doing crazy moves, and then he's like nailing people in the back of the skull with the Kinshasa,
right,
and getting the quick pin. Like if they booked him like they book Asuka, it would make sense, but they didn't. They're booking him where he's like competitive and he's like actually has to work for the matches. It doesn't make any sense. I would say like if you're gonna do that, you need a. It's the thing that though because I don't think it's gonna work. No matter what they do with that, because the title scene in the upper card's really screwed up right now. No matter what they do, it's kind of screwed up because. You don't have a heel that makes you go, oh, boo that piece of shit. Like no, it's mostly like, oh, well, I don't like Jinder. It's more like like he has X-Pac heat rather than actual heat.
Oh wow!
Like I don't want to see this guy.
Right.
Like I don't want to see this guy on television. I don't give a shit if he wins or loses. I don't even give a shit about the belt. Because this guy is so bad. So, that's what I get from Jinder Mahal. So, it's like, okay, if Nakamura loses, I'm more pissed off because then Jinder has the belt for even longer when he doesn't deserve it. But if Nakamura wins, then it's like, oh, there's no lead up and his championship, it's just going to be another Dean Ambrose. Where like they were going through the motions and they just gave him the briefcase and they were like, oh yeah, you can be champ.
kind of like you know what you call an intermediate champion. It's just like they're going to get the belt off of Jinder, put it on him long enough until it's time to take it off of him and put it back on someone who's mainstream, like God forbid Roman Reigns or
Roman's not even in that division. I mean, he's not even in that.
All right, well maybe well then CENA, you know, to put the belt back on CENA.
I think it would be a better idea to just give it to Nakamura at SummerSlam. I think it's as good time as any. I mean, the guy, like, honestly, if he loses to Jinder Mahal, like, they might as well ship him off back to Japan. And I hate to say that.
That was my original thought process. That's what I was thinking before, you know, Pat explained, you know, his point of view, which I think is a good idea too. But yeah, like if they're not going to put him over now, don't put him over at all.
I got the feeling
because over too quickly because there's no build up to it. There's no storyline. There's nothing there. But there's no storyline between him and Jinder. They haven't even talked to one another. He hasn't responded. He hasn't done anything. There's nothing there.
Because it's kind of like the night that Diesel beat Backlund for the belt. It was just a random match, and Diesel just beat him. You know, took the belt off of Backlund. There was no build up. It was just he's gonna defend his title, and he lost the belt. You know.
Mm.
Yeah, but I feel like if you're going to do it, especially a major pay-per-view, there should be something leading up to it.
I agree.
I understand. Yeah, he beat Cena, and that was a fantastic match, and that was good. But then they dropped the ball each week. It's just been like, oh, Nakamura gonna show up? Is Nakamura gonna do something? Is Nakamura gonna respond to Jinder? Is Jinder gonna call out Nakamura? Are they gonna have an actual feud? Oh no. Then if he wins the championship, it's like, oh well, it was boring. You know, there's nothing there. He wins the championship, and there's no actual cool moment there. It's like, oh yeah, he won the championship. That's awesome. But was there a storyline or a good match that led up to him winning the championship? No. It's like when Dean Ambrose won it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a boring beginning of it was just a boring champ win everybody was like, oh yeah, cool, he won it, and then it's like everybody loves to chant you deserve it when someone wins the belt, but they rarely have a match that is that, you know, I'd rather have a great match for the championship than have the championship. That's because something memorable that people can remember me by. It'd be like if Daniel Bryan won the championship off of I don't know, beating fucking Santino Marella.
Right.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Right. I totally agree with that. I mean, see, now Jinder Mahal, unfortunately, there are people that cheer him on, but I feel like it's more ironic than anything else. But the problem that I have, though, was, which, by the way, I don't think, you know, they don't have a storyline. Well, I mean, it's SummerSlam, but a lot of times this is what WWE does. Like, for instance, last year, Brock and Orton didn't have a storyline. They were just like, here's a match that we're gonna have. But there was no storyline going into it. It was just, here's a match. And honestly, think about it this way too, Pat. What more does it need to be of, okay, he won the #1 contendership. Why does he want to fight Jinder Mahal? Oh, because he wants to be champion. That's all you need sometimes. You know, it doesn't need to really be this huge, rivalry. You know, because they never really cross paths. And, you know, it's SummerSlam, it's more of okay, this is the first time you're going to watch these guys. Not that...
Yeah, but you're supposed to be behind somebody. If the heel... the whole point is if you have a face and a heel, shouldn't the heel be working for heel heat? So you're booing him?
He'll have that just for being him. You know? I mean, they're going to boo him regardless because no one likes him. And, dude, no one likes him. I
But
was
then how do
talking.
you get
People like him ironically.
I understand that you're gonna boo against Jinder because he sucks and because of who he is, but then you're not gonna get like the Nakamura gets the championship and it's just like, oh well, here we couldn't be we couldn't fucking be bothered to like come up with a good storyline. So here's your memorable moment with a guy that's it's basically he's winning a major WWE championship, and it's just like it's like I don't know. The only way I can say it is like if you lost your virginity to a fat chick. That's it's like oh well I wish this could have been more memorable. It was just easy, it was easier.
Wow. I see both your points, and you're both right. So, fat chick, thanks for the mental note for the mental image, Pat. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and we're not talking like. Yeah,
and while we're at it, Jesus, brother, tell us how you really feel. My God.
Well, Jinder Mahal is basically like a fat chick.
Oh, he really is.
It's a fat chick on prom, and she has Cheeto dust in her hair.
Oh.
Wow.
And we're talking like 300-pounder, by the way. We're not talking like
400-pounder.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like we're talking that that Yokozuna style.
Oh yeah.
Or Rikishi.
The one that goes to the state fair, and she's got a funnel cake, and she's holding a piece of corn in her mouth like you would a cigar, and with a little skinny husband going, "You gonna finish that corn husk, pumpkin?" And she'll go, "Shut up, I'll feed you when it's time."
Yeah, it's like if you go to a pizzeria with her and they're like, "What would you guys like to eat?" And she goes, "Okay, well first we'll order 2 large Cokes and a giant pepperoni pizza." And then he goes, "Well, what will you have, sir?"
Yeah, exactly.
I get trapped.
Oh man. Kind of like the fat chick I drew one time and made fun of her after she tried to get her money back.
Really?
Or I guess her husband, like, in the good thing about like dating someone that fat, it's like, anytime you guys have sex, then it's like kind of like a Wet n Wild or like a water park.
Yeah.
You go sliding right in.
What you do is you roll around and you have to roll around in flour and look for the wet spot. I'm just saying. Oh my God, I could do this all day. But anyhow, so Jinder Mahal is a fat chick with Cheeto dust in her hair, and Nakamura is the poor bastard who's got to fuck her and get the title.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, listen, everyone will be really happy, though, when he does get the belt, because I'm pretty much set in my ways. We'll even talk about it. Yeah, well, I think we pretty much beat that into it, with a dead horse, and more on top of that. I definitely think Nakamura's getting the belt Sunday. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
I would be surprised if he doesn't, and his momentum would be dead in the water if he does. But, yeah... but anyway, let's move on to some other topics here.
Let's talk about the dead horse. And when I mean dead horse, I mean GFW.
Oh yeah, so Global Force strips Del Rio of the title.
Oh wow.
Said no one.
Right. Oh, that reminds me. I saw a photo someone sent to me. I think it was you guys of what's her name? Porn star. Yeah.
Paige.
Dude, she is so fucking. I mean, the drugs are. She's a fucking skeleton now.
I know. Oh, I know.
She's a skeleton with like skin on.
This is Halloween.
Right? That was. I honest to God said that when I seen her. I'm going, boys and girls of every age, Paige is looking very strange, because she looked terrible. And meanwhile, there's Del Rio with his old ass just fucking clinging to her like a fucking rat on a fucking lifeboat.
Oh God, that's what we should call them. Paige is Jack Skellington, and Del Rio, Del Patron, Del Taco. He's Oogie Boogie.
There you go. You're joking. You're joking.
You know what's amazing?
Like,
well, I'm amazed that they
together.
didn't. I'm amazed they didn't let her go yet. And also, too, they are announcing the first couple of guys that are in the new video game in October, and she's in the video game when she hasn't been on TV in over a year.
Yeah.
And she's still under contract.
Well, that was my next question. Is she still under contract with the Fed?
Yeah, she is.
So, well, what the fuck? Why? That makes absolutely no sense.
It makes me depressed that you can't bust women open in 2K18, because if you did with her, it'd probably be like all cocaine.
Oh man.
Imagine if like you hit her with a chair and then cocaine flies everywhere.
Well, that should be her theme song, Eric Clapton's "Cocaine."
Oh no, Snowblind from Black Sabbath.
There you go. Yes. Yeah, that actually fits her more. That actually fits the character better. You're right. Yeah, but I was talking to Eugene about it, and because he had me drop a bunch of guys, including Gender My Balls. And by the way, he thought that was very funny because I told him what you guys call him, and he was like, "That's hilarious." But I showed him the picture of Paige, and I was like, "Dude, look at this," and he was like, "Jesus Christ, it's terrible." She's gonna end up. We're gonna end up hearing about her sooner or later.
Oh yeah.
Because there's only so much of that shit a human body can take. You know what I mean?
Oh, I think I can find another picture of Paige like that. Give me a sec.
So, okay, well, while you're doing that, so what is the reasoning that they stripped the belt from him?
The whole thing that they had in the airport, I don't know if you heard about it, where there was like a domestic thing going on between them. He said some remark to her, and she threw a drink in his face, and because of all that, even though it was more on her than him, he's getting suspended and stripped of the belt.
Wow.
But at the same time, I mean, let's be frank here. Who cares? Like, who really cares about Del Rio?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, dude, he got lucky with a push where he won the Rumble that one time, and then he got luckier. And honestly, it's sad when your ring announcer is more over than you are. And he he had a good idea. The gimmick was good, but he was terrible. And
Where's Mexican JBL though?
I found her.
And that's what fucking Gender My Balls is. All right, let me see this.
Fucking feature. Ugh.
For those listening in YouTube, I now have the pleasure of being able to put that up, so be on the lookout for that in about 30 seconds.
Oh yeah. Because
wow.
Alright,
let's get that going.
Yeah. That's so good. Hey, from the files of the "It's Still Real to Me, damn it." You know what you could, a conspiracy theorist might say that since Paige is still technically a WWE employee, she got a GWF wrestler suspended and had him stripped of his title. Dun dun dun.
Yeah, the WWE strikes again of trying to sabotage
that
that company.
Yeah. Well, don't you know that Nash and Hall and all them boys, they still under contract with Vince when they went down and joined the NWO.
I loved like when whatchamacallit, I think it was like 2007 or whatever, Kevin Nash was in TNA and people were like, he's still contracted with WWE right now, right?
Oh wow.
But no, I actually, you know what's funny about that? He was in TNA, and while he was in TNA, WWE were releasing his action figures in the Legends series that they had
The
at
Legends,
the time.
right?
Whatever it was called. What was it called? Classic something?
Classic Superstars.
Classic Superstars, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The first one I ever got was the Ultimate Warrior.
You know what? It's funny you say that. That was mine and Bret Hart.
I didn't get Brett for a while. The second one I had was Shawn Michaels in the WrestleMania 12 attire.
Oh yeah.
Or no, not 12.
I got that
WrestleMania
entire
12.
wave. I got that. I got the classic Undertaker. Yeah, I got that whole set when it came out.
I didn't get the set. I mean, I wanted to, but Jesus, man, they were so expensive. To me, they were. I mean, they were like $15 a piece, and now, geez, they're even higher. You know,
even the jank ones are like $17, $18 now.
Yeah, I was like, geez, this is crazy. Because, granted, wrestling figures have never been cheap, but that's ridiculous. I remember when I was a kid, the LJN figures were $6, $7 a piece, but that was because of how big they were. You know, they were monstrous. But the ring was only $20.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this then. They're selling the ring that lights up now, or well, they're about to sell it. Cause you know,
oh, neat.
But they're selling it with a Goldberg, and guess how much they want for it?
Oh, is it in the hundreds?
Yep, 109.
That's stupid. Okay, well.
And they're like, yeah, that's the only way you could get Goldberg. I'm like, yeah, I'll stick with the custom I made that only took me about 10 minutes to make. It was only like no more than fucking $10.
Right. You know, that and who really wants Goldberg that badly?
I mean, I liked him when I was a kid, but at the same time, I own it for nostalgia purposes, but at the same time, it's like, this is old man Goldberg. This isn't even like him in his prime.
Right.
And like, who the fuck would want, like, my thing is like, the reason of owning an action figure at the end of the day too, and I know we're on tangent here, but this is what the show is, especially when you're on. But my thing is, if you're gonna own an action figure, I'd rather it be someone that, you know, represents what they looked like back in the day, not like old man version.
Exactly. You don't want to have, you know, old man Bret Hart. No, you want the young hitman. You know, the excellence of execution. You know, you don't want to play with something that's got gray hair. How's that fun?
Like,
you know,
like none for nothing. The first Shane McMahon Mattel made was him with gray hair, and it was like, I own a Vince with black hair. Why am I gonna have a Vince with black hair and a Shane with gray hair? Like, it makes no sense. You know.
Oh, speaking of which, have you guys seen the Hot Wheels WWE figures?
Hot Wheels? Oh,
yep.
What, cars?
No, they're making die-cast miniature action figures.
Let me see this.
I have a Joker, and they've got several different. Several different properties that they do. They've got Harry Potter, WWE, DC Comics, Marvel Comics. I think they've got something for the girls. It might be ponies or some shit, or Shopkins. But they have a lot of stuff in the boy market, and wrestling happens to be one of them. They've released Ric Flair, Randy Savage, John Cena, Triple H, Sting. I want to say there's probably Roman Reigns or somebody else, but I was looking at the back of I saw a couple of them in Walmart the other day. They're only $1. They're like 97 cents a piece.
Wait, how big are they?
They're tiny. They're less than an inch tall.
Oh, okay.
They are little, bro.
What are they? Wait, what? So what do they look
they're
like?
They're just little metal figures.
Oh shit! I saw the one. They have like a.
Hold on. I'll take a picture. One. Yeah, there's a warrior. I'll take a picture of my Joker and send it to you so you can see it. Because, like I said, I bought one that was the Joker. I didn't even know they had WWE until the other day. I was actually surprised. And had they had the Ultimate Warrior, I would have picked up the Warrior. But They didn't have one. They had Sting, but it was the Crow Sting, and I just no, so I don't hate it. It's just one of those like, I miss the old Sting.
Yeah, I know. I know how you feel.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, to me, the Crow Sting is is what we grew up with, like me and Pat. But at the same time, I do understand why you would like that.
Yeah, because it's just one of those things where it's like, I miss it, and yeah, like you said, that was my childhood. So, okay, this is there. I just sent it to the group, but that's what they look like, basically, and
Oh, I've seen
yeah,
those.
they've got beautiful paint jobs. I mean, they're very accurate to be so small. They've got
Okay.
Justice League for the new movie. Of course, they have other kinds of superheroes, and they've got, like I said, they've got wrestling, and they've got this and other stuff.
Oh shit. Yeah, I mean, I know they're branching out. Like they freaking were making or well they did Barbies for the women.
Yeah,
To
yeah, I've
which
seen those.
I mean, yeah. To which I mean, if you're a girl, that's I'm sure the women wrestlers themselves are marking out for them, and I'm sure the girls are gonna buy them.
Oh, of course.
I don't. To be honest, I'm not gonna know anyone that's gonna buy them in my area, but hey, whatever.
Exactly. If you're, say you've got daughters and they're wrestling fans, this would be the perfect gift for them because, they can have their WWE wrestler have a tea party.
Yes, but
Or whatever.
let's see what else we got here on the synopsis. We got oh, it's the official demise of an era of pro wrestling. Rest in peace, Rock's Brahma Bull tattoo.
That is so horrible.
I mean, he's not a
Shane,
bull, but
when my buddy Shane Little sent me, he goes, "Hey, did you see this?" And he sent me the picture, and I said, "What the fuck is that?" Because he didn't tell me what it was, and he goes, "That's the Rock's tattoo that he covered up the Brahma Bull," and I was like, "What? Why would he do that?" I mean, that really bothered me because that the Brahma Bull. I mean, it's like he's trying to cover up anything he ever had that had to do with him being the Rock, you know. And to me, I don't like it. It's a beautiful tattoo, and I love art, but well, what the fuck? But what do you guys think?
I think he could have. I like the Brahma Bull. If he was going to make a new tattoo, he should have just updated the one he had. Like he could have made it because it is like kind of cartoony. It does look kind of old on him. He could have just updated it a little bit, like made it bigger instead of like doing the whole like. What did he end up making? It was like a weird like bull face but it's like dead.
I thought it was a dinosaur. Honestly,
I did too at first. Yeah,
It was like a dead cow skull or something.
Yeah,
someone said it was like a steer skull or whatever.
Did you guys know what fans would used to do though? Fans would actually get that exact tattoo of the old Brahma Bull tattooed on their body, and then they would, if they were lucky enough to run into the Rock, would get him to autograph underneath the tattoo, above or underneath it, and then go get the tattoo or get the autograph tattooed into their skin as well. So that kind of, it's just, to me, it's just like, well, damn, I don't see anyone that's going to go through the expense of getting that tattoo on their bodies, whereas a small Brahma Bull like The Rock, I mean, it was his trademark. But, he's not into wrestling as like he was, and it's his body, of course. He can do whatever he wishes, but I don't personally like it.
You know what's a shame? You know what his final appearance to a WWE crowd is going to be with that tattoo? Coming out, promoting, and filming the Page movie. That will be forever
of Page,
his final appearance.
I just wrote in WWE Dodo, and the only thing that came up was Page.
Yeah, because that's what you search in your free time. We know, Pat.
Yeah, we know where you're at, bro. It's cool.
Yeah, we don't judge.
Yeah.
No, I mean you were talking about toys, so it's like, but
we meant children's toys, not inappropriate toys.
Like, this show is not inappropriate. Come on now.
Well, okay, fair enough.
You don't want like a little vibrating like Undertaker?
Honestly, I'm good. But now
hey,
if it
man,
was like,
whatever
say,
floats your boat, dude.
yeah, hey, I'm sure Patterson would dig it.
No, he don't. He'd want a Vince one.
He's had the real thing, so he doesn't care. Apparently, so has the Haiti Kid.
Oh, damn it! You beat me to it. I was just saying he wants a sculpture of the Haiti Kid.
Oh my God! I tell you, man, it's weird. You see McMahon, you see Vince, and he's this big commanding person. It's like, yeah, but if you only knew the truth, and then you hear these stories, and you're like, you don't look at him the same way. It's like, what? He did what with who? And it's not like if you walked up on the street and you ask him, I doubt he would even deny it. Well, maybe now he would because of the political aspect with his wife and everything, but
Yeah. Which I had no idea, by the way, with Vince, that he was actually on Howard Stern, let alone I had no idea that he actually admitted that he had cheated on Linda.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because, he was on Howard Stern, and he sure did. I like it, though, because, wasn't it Stephanie was on there, and somebody, I think Howard asked her about the whole Macho Man thing?
No, actually, I listened to that full interview twice. They never mentioned Macho Man, but
they mentioned Macho.
But they did mention that she was dating Steve Austin for a brief period.
I knew about that. I mean, I knew she was seeing.
And then someone called in, was like saying like, "Oh, is it true that you gave Austin the dildo from behind?" And she's just like, I mean, what fantasy you want to have, but that never happened.
Right.
But she was just.
I saw a part of the interview, and because they were talking about her being married to Hunter, and he's like, "So does he give it to you rough?" And she's like, "Yeah, if that's the way I want it, sure."
Yeah. Yeah, and she's just like, and they're like, and then Howard's like, "Do you like anal?" She's like, "Yeah, I can't get enough of it."
And we're playing that clip.
And that's when everyone was like, "Well, but what if your family heard this interview?"
I can honestly say I don't think that would faze them in the least.
I mean, yeah, no, that family's a bunch of fucking weirdos. That's, there was, what was it, the one idea where Vince wanted to do an incest angle?
He sure did, yeah. Well, actually, when she shot down the first idea, which was going to be Vince being the dad, then he said, well, what about Shane? And she's like, fuck no! What the hell's the matter with you?
To which, and then they just kept it quiet. Then Triple H and Stephanie were married. Too bad the internet knew, but on story they kept it quiet for about 3 years.
3 years they managed to keep it quiet on TV. 3 years, and then it just went straight to hell. And I'm just like, really, seriously? I mean, there was one I saw a long time ago, where they're all in the ring, and he goes, "Okay, Steph, I'll see you at home." I mean, oh, your brother's a gnome. Try not to, break the story or whatever. But it's like, whatever. Come on. So.
How much more interesting would it have been if they were doing the feud with DX and the McMahons, and they were like exploiting, like, yeah, I'm Triple H is married to Stephanie, and at least again, quote unquote. But you know what? I wanted to mention this to you guys. I was listening to a podcast I listen to the regular, Solid Monster Sands Off, really informative show, and he got a question that really I never thought about. Obviously we all know about the storyline between Test and Triple H back in '99. Wouldn't it make more sense, rather than Big Show get the belt and Triple H get it off the Big Show, if they gave it to Test and then Triple H gets it from Test instead, and they add an actual hey, you stole my wife storyline into it?
Right. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but
'cause,
it was
like,
the Attitude Era. They were a lot of this shit was just them going through the motions.
no, now is going through the motions. Back then, they actually had some sort of continuity for the well, Attitude Era. They're kind of losing it. I
Yeah.
mean, come on now, like the whole Vince McMahon higher power thing made no sense.
No, not even a little bit.
I mean, it would have made much more sense. Like, once you guys told me that it was Jake that was rumored to do that gimmick, I was just like salivating at the mouth just hearing that. You know, I was like, imagine how fucking dark and, you know, satanic those promos would have been with Jake and, like, Lucifer Undertaker.
Oh yeah.
And then the story would have had continuity because of when Austin was like pretty much shit canning and bad mouthing Jake.
Right. Right. And I mean, I actually kind of liked the whole storyline, especially with the whole satanic thing with the Undertaker and the whole deal. And all up until the time when Austin was trying not to laugh on the slab. You know, I mean, there he is about to, you know, get embalmed or whatever the fuck it was, and you know,
Yeah, I
he's
mean,
doing his best not to laugh, and I'm just going, man, that's awful. Because I'm wondering, well, my first thought was, I wonder how many times it took them to film this. This must have been the best take that they could use, so this is the one they're going to present, you know, as the final product, because you can clearly see Austin fighting back laughter as you've got, you know, the Undertaker about to sacrifice him or whatever they're going to do, and it's just like you see Austin like doing his best not to laugh, and I don't know, to me it was just funny.
yeah, as a kid, I cried because I was 6 years old, and it was, you know, I really didn't know if it was fake or real yet. As an adult, I cried because of how horrendous it actually really was.
Yeah. I just remember sitting at home watching that, going, "Really? They're gonna do really? Okay." You know, because I mean, once you get past the whole, they have spit in the face of religion a billion times anyway. So you get over that pretty quickly. But I mean, they were doing that as late as the early 1990s. They were doing stuff like that. So, and the Undertaker always pushed that kind of satanic vibe anyway. So, to them doing that was really not a big deal.
Right.
But I can see where it would upset children. Sure, you know, fuck, dude. You know, you said you were losing your shit over that. You should have seen me when Ricky got his larynx crushed. I was inconsolable.
Yeah. Or what about when
You know?
Jake DDT'd him on the floor?
Dude, oh Jesus, I thought he killed him. I really did. I mean, well, and to be fair, Jake thought he killed him too.
Yeah.
Oh, when he did the DDT.
Yeah, yeah. Jake talks about he. I mean, I was privileged to hear that story in person. We were backstage that night. That was the night that the idiot did the DDT on the concrete and stuff. Well, when Jake was still lucid, and we were talking about, you know, wrestling and stuff, and he goes, so you're a Steamboat guy, huh? And I said, yeah. And he goes, did you? He goes, I assume you've seen the film where I did the DDT on the concrete to him, right? And I said, yeah, man. I said, that was brutal. He goes, dude, I thought I killed him. He goes, he said everybody thought, he goes, the referee, everybody was shitting their pants because they thought for sure that I had killed him. And he goes, and to be honest, I thought I killed him, because when he's laying there and he's gone, he's just done. You know, he goes, I tried to pick him up. He goes, and it was literally the heaviest thing I've ever tried to lift in my life. And it had to be just me because the referee couldn't help me, you know. And so, and we had to get him back in the ring to at least finish the match or do something. He said, and I, honest to God, if you watch the tape again, I actually put my hand down to see if he's breathing. He said, because I swear to God, I thought I had killed him. He said that was terrible. He said, Ricky, when they got him backstage, Ricky didn't even start to really come out of it for a good, you know, 15, 20 minutes. I mean, they were waking him up, but he didn't know where he was, or and it took like 2 weeks for his eyes to go black. He said all this on a DVD too, but I mean, to hear him say it in person was just like, wow, you know. And of course, in person, you hear a lot more shits and fucks and all that stuff. So,
I mean, so when that happened, like, it was Jake supposed to originally go over?
No, they were setting up the feud with the snake and the the whole idea with the snake and the pit dragon and or whatever, Komodo or whatever it was, that was already going to happen anyway. They were going to set up a feud between Jake and Steamboat, but it was just by happenstance that Jake slipped on the DDT and Ricky took the full blow of it. So it was a legitimate fuck up. And Jake was supposed to take the bump, but apparently the floor, because if you look, there's no padding. Apparently the floor was wet or something was on the bottom of Jake's boot. Something happened and he legitimately slipped and brought Steamboat all the way down and cracked him right on the crown of the forehead, right on the crown of the head. And when he went down, he was gone. I mean, Ricky was literally just out for the count.
Yeah, you could see him. He's.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and honest to God, man, the people, everybody around the ring, that was in the know, like timekeepers and commentators, everybody thought Ricky was dead. That was the thing. Everyone was like, "Oh my God," and Jake literally had to put his hand down to see if he was breathing, and then had to pick him up and get him into the ring. And he said it was the heaviest thing he ever lifted. He said Ricky only weighed like 230 pounds, but it was the heaviest 230 I ever lifted. So
yeah, because it's just total dead weight.
Yeah, he was completely unconscious. I mean, there was no help at all. And when so they had to get him in the ring so that Jake could do the bit with the snake. And if Ricky had any fear of snakes, believe me, he had no clue there was a snake on him.
Yeah, you can see him like his eyes, like he opened his eyes up like just a little bit,
right?
And it like he was gone, like his eyes were completely glazed over.
Yeah, they were completely glassed over. He didn't know where or who he was, and to hear Ricky talk about it was pretty intense too, because he gets that kind of like that 1,000-yard stare. You know what I mean? Like when he talks about it, and he said the last thing he remembered was Jake patting him on the back, to go for the move, and that was the last thing he remembered until he woke up in the backstage with the boys and the EMT shining lights into his eyes. That was the last thing he remembered.
Shit.
Yeah, man. I mean,
Shit.
that's some pretty scary shit.
Now,
Can you imagine that though? Think about it. You go out there, you do this thing for a living, and I'm not just talking about Steamboat, I'm talking about any of the boys. You go out there and you take a bump that you've taken 1,000,000 fucking times, and then the one time it fucks up. You know what I mean? And then you wake up minutes or hours later, and you don't know what happened.
Now I want to ask you about this because I want to bring this up since you're talking about getting knocked out in the ring. I'm sure, obviously, sure you know about a little of Kenny Omega's work in Japan, right?
Yes.
Okay, during the G1 tournament, I want to say about a week or so ago, he was wrestling a guy by the name of Evil, who was part of a group called LIJ, Los Ingobernables de Japón, and this guy's about 230 something pounds. Kenny Omega does a flying knee and hits this guy so hard that it knocks him out clean, and he's not aware of it, that Kenny Omega's not aware that this guy is knocked out, so he goes to set up for his finishing move, the One Wing Angel, in which he picks the guy up on his shoulders and then kind of catches their neck and slams them down, kind of like a modified Michinoku driver or whatever. Now,
okay.
He tries to pick him up, and he's like dropping. Well, doesn't drop him, but like he's like struggling to get this guy up about 3 to 4 times because he's out cold, and he doesn't realize it until he keeps falling down because he's deadlifting 230 something pounds, and he actually gets the finisher on the guy, and the guy's fucking knocked out clean. So
my God.
Yeah. I'm going to see if I can find the clip online, and I'll show it to you. Yeah.
Let me see it before I say what's coming to my mind, because I have a thought, but I want to see it before I say what I'm thinking. You know, because I'm probably going to be wrong here, but I just want to see it first. Damn.
The move? The move?
No. I want to see something else. There's something I want to look for. Because I'll just go ahead and say it. I'm wondering, where the hell's the referee during this thing? Because the referee should have been in there and somehow got a message to Omega saying, "Hey, he's out cold." You know.
Oh, they go with shoot styles, so this might happen more often than you think. It's not like
okay.
WWE. Like the thing with the guys in Japan is they like to go rough with each other.
Well, I know that. Believe me, I've heard some horror stories of Japan.
And it's funny you say that, actually, because Brian Alvarez and Dave Meltzer has actually said that they if anyone to blame, it's not Kenny Omega, it's the referee.
Well, and that's because in the ring, man, the referee's the general. You know, he's the one that tells everybody what to do, to take it home, to do this, to do that, whatever. Not to mention the fact a referee's job is very hard, and it's, you know, it's just one of those things. Where at in this match is this?
I put in, it's 3. These are only highlights, but it's at 3:11. Like, you can actually see how when he makes the contact, how it looks.
Oh yeah, his whole body he like caved in, like as soon as he hit him in the jaw.
All right, I'm watching. Hang on. I went a little early, so let me see. Fuck me. Okay. Oh yeah.
That's impressive that he was able to even do that for the guy at Evil's size.
He's laying there fucking drooling. You know, and yeah, I'm sorry, but the referee should have said something.
Oh, he should have.
I mean, he should have got in there and done something.
I mean, he should have just declared it a hard way victory.
Yeah, or something. Yeah, like, hey, you knocked him out. That's it.
Yeah,
you know, show's over.
Yeah, decision by knockout.
I've been knocked out in the ring before, so I can understand what's going on there. You know, that's why I didn't do hardcore matches very often.
Yeah, didn't you get hit back in the head with a chair and then you were?
Yeah, and I was literally unconscious for a couple of seconds, and had my head busted open. Blah blah blah. Yeah, whatever. But I can understand, you know, being knocked unconscious, you know, in the ring, and luckily the referee was on me, going, "Oh, okay, he's out," you know, and that was the end of the match for me. I left the ring. I was counted out. You know, it was one of those things where there was like a 3-way. It was a fatal 3-way or some kind of bullshit. I don't remember, but you could be either pinned or counted out to like up to the number. The referee counts to 10, and that's the end of it. So I just laid there and let him count me out, because I mean, at that point I didn't know where I was, and the guy was wrestling. He was like, "Just roll out of the ring, roll out of the ring." I was like, "Okay," you know. I said, "I'm in the ring," you know. I mean, that's how messed up I was.
Oh man.
The only way I could see this, like someone getting knocked out and them trying to like work around it, would be like if he was supposed to go over.
Right.
But even then, like if the guy's like done, like he's not getting up, then.
I'm sorry. Just think about being knocked out and you're supposed to go over. It makes me think of the night Tommy Rich won the world title from Harley Race.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah, that's just, to me, that's just hilarious. And I was talking about that. I was talking to somebody about that the other day.
And hey, what about whatchamacallit? I hate to cut you off, but what about the time in ECW where they were throwing the chairs and Terry Funk and
Terry, yeah. Oh my God, dude! And you see him just go face first. That's face plant.
Well, it's funny. It's kind of funny. I hate to say that it's kind of funny when you see him get hit, because the chair hits him. Your chair hits him, and you see him go thung, like his head like springs up, and then he just fucking falls like a ton of bricks.
I mean, boom, he's down, he's out for the count, and it's like, well, they just killed Terry, you know.
I'm getting the clip.
I'll tell you, the one that made me laugh is from Hell in the Cell, And you talk about not realizing you've done something after you've been knocked out. Was when Mick Foley was sitting backstage with the thumbtacks in his back, and he goes, "Hey Mark, did we do the thumbtack spot?"
Oh my gosh.
I mean, because that's how messed up he was.
Oh my
So
God.
is this it, Pat? Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah,
I
it
just want to see Terry's face because it was priceless.
And you know what's funny? I watched on the network. They have like a top 50 moments, and that was
Boom! Here he goes. Yeah. I'm sorry.
I didn't know he was knocked out actually until I watched this special on the network. They I think it was Taz or Tommy Dreamer. Someone said it. They were like, "Yeah, you could see Terry Funk getting clocked."
That chair got clocked. He clocked him right in the back of the head, man. He was out like a light. He was out before he even hit the fucking canvas.
Just watching his head, you just see him go, "Dum," like he just tilts to the right and then boom.
He was only out for a second or two.
Every time I saw that, whenever I would see that clip, I always thought he was just he got hit, but he was selling it to make it kind of a part of the show. Yeah. I didn't actually thought he got knocked out.
That's when you're just going, damn, holy crap. Oh yeah. But that kind of thing happened in ECW a lot though, didn't it? Like people were just knocked out left and right.
And it sucks to say because both of them are passed on, and my dad has a huge history with Rocco Rock in the Northeast. Yeah. He worked for him when Rocco Rock had his own promotion. I honestly am surprised those guys made it out alive, because they're throwing the chairs on top of the Public Enemy.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm surprised those guys were made it out of there okay.
Oh, dude, they just, you know that they were in the fetal position with their hands around their head, and they're just like, it'll end soon enough, I hope. Plus, I mean, look at it practically. Once enough chairs land on you, you're not going to get hit by another chair.
Absolutely.
So it was kind of like one of those things where it just kind of worked out. Oh.
Yep.
Did you hear at 42 seconds? This is the most priceless thing about it. The announcer saying, Stop throwing the fucking chairs. And then you hear a drunk fan go, throw more chairs!
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yep, that was ECW for you.
I used to love to watch, I used to love watching the tapes, and because we didn't get it on actual television around here.
Right.
We never got it on actual TV here. When the first time I had a satellite dish, that was the first time I actually saw an actual television program of ECW. And you want to know the truth? I hated it because they never showed an actual full-length match. It was always highlights. And then it was highlight promo. And finally they would show maybe one match at the very end of the show, and they wouldn't even show the entire thing. It'd be they would cut it right before the ending. I'm like, well, whoa, wait a minute. Go back and finish it, so.
Yeah. No, I mean, over here, we used to get it, but I was too young to even watch it yet. Even though we did get tapes sent to us from Sean Pantozzi and all that, and I think even Rob Feinstein had a couple as well. So I was able to go back as a teenager and watch some of those, and yeah, you're right. They didn't show, but they did show full matches. It was just more of they showed promos, and it wasn't okay. They would be like, "Oh, it's ECW November to Remember," and you would get one or two matches from it.
Right.
It wasn't a full 7-match card you were watching. It was here. Let's watch a match here, and then let's watch a match next week, and.
Right, and it wasn't until later that we found out why. It's because, they were putting this together on a shoestring, and they had to get as much info out as they possibly could.
Oh, yeah.
I
really, and at the time, I really didn't even watch ECW until I was about 8 years old when it was on TNN.
That was the watered-down version.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was good, but it wasn't what it could have been and all that stuff. But yeah, TNN, God, I remember that when they changed it from the Nashville network to the national network, like it matters.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And then, of course, they were booted instantly when WWE took over, or when it was the WWF. Wasn't
Pretty
it?
much.
Wasn't that was about? Yeah, that was about what, the same time as right before WrestleMania 2000 happened.
Just about,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
No, well, the TNN deal, they got in 99, and they were still on TNN around WrestleMania 2000, but WWE, or WWF, actually were getting paid millions of dollars, and to quote Paul Heyman, like he needs it, to be on that network within September of that year.
Oh, okay.
So they were booted off, ECW got booted off, WWF went on there, and they pretty much struggled to be in business for 4 months. So that's when they were like, okay, Paul went to WWE, WWF, and became the announcer. And actually, ECW was actually still kind of in business, but Paul Heyman was filing for bankruptcy while he was in WWF. And Tommy Dreamer was actually running the day-to-day operations. He was the boss.
Yeah. And that was only because, he still believed in.
Yeah, he still believed, and that's why he has his promotion now, the House of Hardcore.
Right. He and that was exactly. That was because he was passionate about the business and he wanted to be so.
Yep.
But anyway, so a while back, Pat, I don't know if Eric told you about it, but what was it we were talking about with Sonny?
All right. I was listening to an interview with actually the guy I mentioned before, Solid Monster, and he had on Justin Roberts, the ring announcer for WWE, and he was mentioned that he was trained by a guy by the name of Sonny Rogers, which I thought it was your Sonny Rogers, the one that trained you, but I found out two different guys, and then you told me more about Sonny Rogers, the one that you knew. So go ahead.
Well, all right. So I met Sonny in let's see, it would have been the winter of '95, and unfortunately, I only got to spend about 7 or 8 months with the man. No, it would have been '94. So I did have about a year or so with him before he sadly passed away. But anyway, I met him, and the first thing he ever did to me was put me in the crossface chicken wing, which happened to be the move he would use to when he wrestled. But anyway, just to see if I could take it, and I could, and I had some prior knowledge of wrestling. So when I did meet him, he said, "Can you?" I said, "I know how to lock up." And he goes, "Oh, you do, huh?" I said, "Yeah." And I told him that I had sisters that were in the business and this and that. And he goes, "Well, let me see how you lock up." And I did the old school lock up with the hand on the chest because that's what I was taught. And he was like, "Oh, wow, okay, cool." So he knew that I had some working knowledge of the business. Anyway, we developed a very, very close friendship. I love the man dearly, and he taught me a lot. He taught me about the psychology of the business, why we do things, why we don't do things, this, that, and the other. Right before he died, I went over to his house to hang out because I would often come and visit him when he was sick. He had cancer, by the way. I'm telling Pat. I don't know if I ever said anything. But anyway, so he goes, "Hey, do me a favor." I was like, "Sure, whatever you want." And he says, "Go in the back closet over there and grab my my duffel bag." I said, "Okay." So I went in the room there and I found it and I came out with it. And he goes, "Open it up and take a look." So I opened it up and I looked and his boots were in there. And I said, "Oh, yeah, cool." I said, "I've never seen your boots before." He goes, "Take them out." I said, "Okay." He goes, "Hand them to me." I said, "Okay." So I hand them to him, and he hands them back to me, and he goes, "Here, these are for you. Make sure you use them, okay?" And he gave me his wrestling boots, and I didn't know what to say. I was completely floored. And I said that I would, and he was gone maybe a month or so later. And I wore them my first match, and I wore them every time I wrestled and did anything in the business. And that was because I made my promise to Sonny, and that's what happened. And funny side note, that same Sonny Rogers you were talking about with Justin Roberts. Okay, so I'm watching wrestling one night. This is a while after Greg died, after Sonny died, and I'm watching WWF Shotgun Saturday Night. Okay, and that same Sonny Rogers, the surfer Sonny Rogers. That's how I describe him. He had long blonde hair and just looked so like a surfer gimmick or something. Yeah, well, he had this. He of course, he was a jobber, so he lost to somebody. I don't even remember who it was, and the announcer said, "And it's another loss for Sonny Rogers," and out of nowhere, man, my TV just cuts off. It just cuts off. My remote was a good 2 feet from me, so I knew it wasn't me, and I'm just like, "What the fuck?" And then it kind of dawned on me. I was like, "Oh, okay," and I kind of laughed it off. I was like, "Knock it off, Greg. It ain't funny," I said, they're not talking about you, bro. And I turned my TV on, and I didn't have another problem out of it. But it was just really funny that it's just like he was there, with me, and that happened to happen. So he was a really big. Sonny was a huge Bob Backlund mark, and I mean, we're talking like I am Steamboat. He was that way about Bob Backlund, and he just thought the sun set and rose with Backlund. And I didn't really think that much of the guy. And so it was just one of those things. And that's why he used the crossface chicken wing and, all that stuff. And he had his favorites and, guys that he wrestled. And of course, I've told the Sheik story a million times. But Sheik was like another one of his big time favorites. But that was the Backlund thing was the guy who, I think that was probably one of the wrestlers who inspired him to get into the ring, to get into wrestling. And then after he got into wrestling, a guy like the Sheik was probably one of the guys he idolized after he got into the ring, because back in the day, it was okay to be a mark for somebody. You just could not ever really express that, because, you'd be treated like a goof or an outcast, or in some territories you'd get beaten up.
What?
Yeah, no, seriously.
Yeah, you would.
No, really, man. Back in the day, you did not. Okay, say you're a wrestler, okay, and say you're a fan of. Give me somebody. Who are you a big fan of, right now?
In wrestling now?
Yeah.
AJ Styles, I don't know.
Okay, so you're on a show with AJ Styles. You're a wrestler, and you walk up to AJ Styles and you mark out. Well, that was considered a no-no. You weren't supposed to do that, because when you're backstage and you're part of the boys, they're no better than you are. So, that was the mentality back then. Granted, some of the guys would get an ego. Most of the guys had an ego, but still, you just, and it was because of the whole ego thing that you didn't really mark out, or you never asked for a picture with the guy, or you never asked for an autograph, or whatever, And if you did ask for one, you never asked for it for yourself. You said, "Oh, will you sign this for my kid?" Or "Will you take a picture with, so my, for my kid," or whatever, But you never ever did it for yourself, and that was because it was a respect thing, and that was just how the business was back in those days. Nowadays, it's completely not even close to that, and it's just one of those things. But back then, man, it was a whole respect thing. There was a whole kayfabe thing, and that's just how the business was.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of stories, like when Professor Elliot first got broken in, because did I ever tell you the story how he got broken in the business, Earls?
No, I'd like to hear it.
All right, because he told me this directly a year, well, I think within the year that he passed away, or a year before. The story was, it was him and a couple friends attending a show, I believe in the Garden, and they run into Ernie Roth, who was the Grand Wizard.
The Grand Wizard, yeah.
And I believe at the time he was managing Slaughter. And, they were like, talking to him or whatever, and he's just like, "Hey, do you want to help out?" Ernie Ross was like, "Hey, you want to help out you know, bringing stuff from whatever, like here, like props and shit to like the cars or the trucks or whatever, and they're like, yeah, sure, no problem. And then Ernie's just, you know, says to Elliot, oh, you know, I'll see you soon or whatever. And, you know, time goes by, you know, they keep hanging out, and eventually he gets Elliot in the locker rooms, and a few of the guys, you know, looked and were like, hey, you don't belong here, you know, you're one of the marks. You're not part of the business, you know, give us reason not to kick your ass. And Ernie Roth was like, hey, listen, he's with me, relax.
Yep.
So ever since, you know, you had to really know somebody, and, you know, to get back in there was, you know, taboo. It's just like a guy like Paul Heyman snuck his way in there.
He sure did. Yeah.
You know, and
to be fair, it was a wonder he didn't get his ass handed to him.
He screwed over Bill Apter on a lot of shots. You know, he would elbow guys out of the way just to get a shot to put on his magazine. But yeah, so Elliot got in the business pretty much with the help of Ernie Roth. I don't know why I keep saying Roth. That's my Jersey accent coming out. But yeah, so,
well, you know, that's how Sonny got in the business too. You know, Sonny learned how to he was on the ring crew, so that's how he got his foot in the business.
I remember my dad actually was only a ring crew guy, really, WCW. Him and Chris Candido actually were both taking down the rings together. And they actually were managed under Klondike Bill. Bill would make sure because he was with the WCW for a long time. Towards the end of that company.
I've known Klondike. I knew Klondike for years. So yeah.
Yeah, so he actually was responsible, and he got a lot of, like, my dad, you know, wound up becoming good friends with him, which a lot of that times, you know, it was perceived that he was a nice guy, but he had a mean streak. You didn't want to piss him off.
Who, Bill?
Yeah.
Bill beat the living fuck out of who was it? This happened in Kentucky. He beat the shit out of somebody on the roster because they pissed him off. God dang, I'm trying to remember who it was. It wasn't Ayakea. It was one of those guys. Oh, it was Lash LaRue.
Oh, of course it was.
They were, well, you know,
course.
They were drunk, and they were partying, and Lash LaRue got a wild streak up his ass and decided to call Klondike, and all he was the old man who ran the ring crew, and to mind his own business, and because he was trying to impart some knowledge, you know, and Klondike said, "Old man, huh?" And he beat the living shit out of him. I took Doug Dillinger and I want to say it was Pee Wee Anderson, as the story goes, to save poor Lash LaRue's life. Wrestled on
him up that bad.
Wrestled on TV with a black eye.
Woo!
You know, and it's like, you know, hey, just don't. You got to watch, man, because these old timers, especially old timers, man, they will get a hold of you. And what if they have a fit of dementia and they forget who you are, you know, aka Vern Gagne, and they end up killing you. You know, which is exactly what happened with Gagne. He had Alzheimer's, and he got a hold of, who was it that he killed? Was it a nurse or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was a nurse.
I mean, yeah. Unfortunately, he killed somebody, but it was because of his dementia. He flipped out and, you know, ended up killing somebody, which is sad. I mean, I'm not making a joke about the fact that he murdered someone. Well, he didn't murder, but the fact that he killed someone. I wouldn't call it murder.
Yeah.
I would call it an unfortunate accidental homicide. I don't know.
Right.
How it's described, but it was definitely not done on purpose. But shit happens, and there you go.
Oh no, he didn't get a nurse. He body slammed. Oh, it's horrible. Oh god, he body slammed a 97-year-old patient.
Oh, was that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because, Jesus, can you imagine that? This poor old bastard's trying to make it down, try to make it to the bathroom on time. You know? And all of a sudden he gets grabbed, and next thing you know, he's in the air, and the next thing you know, he's talking to Jesus.
Or
my
down
God.
below, depending how much of a nice guy or scumbag the person was.
That's true.
Apparently, the widow said that he Gagne picked up her husband and basically did like a gorilla press.
Wow.
Jesus.
That's insane.
Jesus.
And no, it's impressive that an 80-year-old man could do that, but then at the same time, when you do a gorilla press or any type of body slam to somebody, and they're like 97 years old, that's my God.
Could you imagine the orderlies are standing around and they're like, well, that's something you don't see every day. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, to move
Thing
a
is,
little...
Gagne gotten before and put him into like I think it was a camel clutch.
Mm-hmm.
So she was like screaming, but her husband wasn't hurt not in that time, but this time he friggin' did a gorilla press and killed him.
Good Lord.
Jesus Christ. And the guy, it's hilarious. It's fucked up. He survived the Nazis just to be killed by Vern Gagne. Wow.
Well, you know, it happens. Let's see, Gagne, he was a alternate for the Olympics, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
For wrestling back in the 40s?
You know what I heard?
Like
He's
that?
one of the guys that wanted to kill Vince.
No, what? Yeah, he was. He was definitely one of the guys.
That could have been
What is it?
Vince. That could have been Vince.
Well, did you know that well, this is true. He actually did put a hit on Hogan. He wanted Sheik to break his back. Because Hogan... Well, Hogan was his top draw for the longest time, was Gagne's top draw. And then when Vince took him, instead of killing Vince, he told Sheik, go there and I want you to break Hogan's back. And Hogan, and of course Sheik was like, he was going to listen to Coach Gagne until Vince gave Sheik his check.
Right.
And then
What I had heard is Gagne was trying to... He told him that, and then he said to, after that, win hard way, and then just take the belt back to what was his territory? By Minnesota, right?
Minnesota, yeah. Yeah, he's up there in Minnesota there, don't you know? They were going to take the belt there, and they were going to wrestle for the WWF belt there, and, they were going to screw over Vince, and, oh, jeepers, here we go with the belt.
I like how a Minnesotan accent sounds like a cross between Roddy Piper and Sarah Palin.
From my back porch, you can see Russia. You don't throw rocks at a guy who's got a machine gun.
I love my bodyguard.
Oh my God! There's a guy that I know that comes to the conventions, and he knows that I was in the business and whatnot, and he always tries to do his Dusty impression. And
no, I think you got one of the most underrated Dusty impersonations. Honestly.
Well, I appreciate that, Mr. Williamson. I do. I was talking with him the other day. I was at a show, don't you know? And I was down there talking about wrestling, if you will. And he comes walking up and he goes, "Hey, it's the American Dream." I said, "As long as Andre don't piss on me in a New Orleans bordello, we doing okay." And oh my gosh, it's just one of the funniest.
Pat's actually been wanting you to say that for a very long time.
Yeah, I have.
I was standing there, and there was a big lightning storm, and all of a sudden we was in the New Orleans bordello with Andre the Giant, don't you see, baby? And we was down there in that bordello, and all of a sudden the lights went out, and I feel this warm liquid running down my leg, and I hear ho 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 ho, and Andre the Giant picked on the American Dream and a New Orleans Modelo. Oh God!
It was funny.
You know how pee is warm? That must have been hot.
Yeah, it must have been like lava.
I mean, right?
Especially with like fucking him consuming probably 70-something beers.
Oh, jeez. Who was it that he shit on in the ring? Because he shit on somebody.
We will find this video.
Yeah, Andre literally, it may not be on video, but you might find the interview. Andre apparently took a shit on someone. I heard it was in Japan.
I know he was farting on, I think it was Jake, actually, because he was farting on Jake.
That I knew.
No, it's much, much worse. It's much in the video now.
I didn't. What was it? You were fading in and out.
I found something way worse. And
okay.
Makes way too much sense.
All right.
Hang on. Let's see. What is this?
Here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He sure did, and I think this is probably the one guy.
That.
I do believe this is probably the one guy that could have beaten Andre's ass legitimately.
All right, here I'm gonna play it.
You're wrong. It was like Bigelow and Andre in Mexico when Andre had too many tequilas, and I remember that. Were you? What happened there?
True story. You talking about the one where he shit on me?
Yeah.
Okay. This is the last time I saw Andre alive, because he was supposed to come back. We're both supposed to come back, go home, come back a month later, and then he went to his father's funeral and passed away. But he had diarrhea, and plus he was drinking too. So he gets into the ring there, and Bam Bam was my partner, and he shoots me across the ring, and he says, "Oh, big ass boss." He knows, call everybody boss, right? And he gives it to me, and all of a sudden everything went. You know, I'm like laying in the corner, and he just let go, and it's all over me, and I fell out the ring, and I'm about to puke, you know, and so I left. We're in the bull ring in Mexico, and I went up the stairs. And like you go up the stairs and there are people lined along the line there, and they're cursing me and everything, and they're going like, "Wow, what is that smell?" You know? Yeah. And it was me, and I went in, and I didn't take off my boots or nothing. I went in and just jumped in the shower, everything on it, and you know, I felt sorry for the guy. I mean, he was just sick. That's all. I just let it go, you know. But that's a true story. Everybody.
Yeah, I feel bad for Bad News Brown too.
Oh, I know, right? And well, do you know how I just said that he was probably the one guy who could probably really beat up Andre the Giant in real life, is because he was one of those. He was a legit judo champion before he ever got into wrestling. And one night well, actually, it's the next video that came up. He was going to get into it with Andre because Andre kept saying the N-word, and they were on a bus or something, and Bad News was just like, "Hey man, what the hell? Quit saying that. What are you doing?" Andre was drunk. And he just kept saying the N-word, the N-word, the N-word. And it wasn't until after Andre sobered up that he realized, oh, man, because he didn't want to offend anyone. It was just one of those things. So, right. Yeah, but he got all up in Andre's shit over it. He's like, hey, you better knock it the fuck off, or, I'm going to knock you the fuck out. Of course, I don't think anyone could knock out Andre.
No, you can't.
No,
not even tequila could.
To quote Bobby the Brain Heenan, you could hit him with a truck and the truck would be fucked up. So,
no, you know what I find this funny, because the Bad News Brown, and that just reminds me of Tourette's guy.
Oh, you know who Tourette's guy is, right, Earls?
I do, yes.
There's a video we used as an opener once where it's Tourette's guy right watching wrestling. Well, no, I'll just say it. He's talking about like Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and he mentions Bad News Brown. He goes, "Bad News Brown. Now, don't tell me that his shit doesn't stink."
No. He said, and I quote, "Bad News Brown. It looks like someone took a big ass shit and named it Bad News Brown."
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he said about Doug. Yeah, and he said about Duggan, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Now he'd tell you that his shit stinks.
Wow. Why is it all these whack jobs are wrestling fans?
Oh, that's your like my dad calls it. That's your normal demographic of a wrestling fan.
That's true. That's true.
But anyway, we gotta do our SummerSlam predictions. Do it quickly, and then we gotta roll out of here.
Okay.
I wanted to talk a little bit about the G1, but I guess we'll talk about it next week. And I'll actually send you some clips so you could, get a little brushed up on it. Yeah.
Okay.
So, all right. So SummerSlam, it's gonna be in Barclays Center in Brooklyn. I'll actually be there the night before for NXT Takeover. One of our loyal listeners, Pete. Shout out to Pete. Me and him will be there, and should be a decent show. Or it should be a pretty good show. At least the wrestling will be good. But SummerSlam, we got about 12 matches here because it's a 4-hour fucking show. I think someone will be on the pre-show, but let's just we'll get through these quick here. Just pretty much who you think's going over. We got Cesaro and Sheamus defending the tag titles from Raw against Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins.
Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins.
Yes, I agree. What about you, Pat?
I don't see him going over in this pay-per-view.
Okay.
Maybe in the next pay-per-view, because this is kind of like a... Is this the curtain jerk, or is this the pre-match? A pre-show?
I don't know.
If it's curtain jerker, yeah. If it's the pre-show, now.
I think it'll be kind of middle of the card. Let's see. We got John Cena against Baron Corbin.
Oh, Cena.
You know what? He might go over just because of the shit that they've been doing to him, just to get something back.
I think Corbin, unfortunately, because of what they just did with him losing the case.
Okay.
You got Finn Balor against Bray Wyatt.
I want to say Finn Balor.
Finn Balor.
Oh yeah, Finn Balor. It's a major pay-per-view.
The story there was they did the match on Raw, and Bray Wyatt actually went over, and this is Finn went out the demon getup, and he takes out a bucket. Bray takes out a bucket and pours what looks like blood. It was red paint, and it pretty much was like a flashback to like the old bloodbath from the Brood.
The Brood, yeah.
So they did that angle again, and then Finn does a promo where he's like, Bray has his demons, and so do I. So pretty much telling that he's going to come out as the makeup on Sunday and then get the win. Because he has yet to really lose on the main roster in that gimmick. And he only breaks it out for big matches, too. So, which I guess is smart. Next,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, next, we got Big Show against Big Cass with Enzo Amore suspended above the ring in a shark cage. They pretty much split up Big Cass and Enzo Amore, if you didn't know.
I did not know that.
Yeah, Big Cass is a heel now, and Big Show is pretty much paired with Enzo. And
well, in that case, I see Big Show probably going over, but they're going to do a spot with what's his name with Enzo.
I think they might have Big Cass go over, actually, because they've been making Big Cass look like shit. But I mean, they did do the angle on Monday where it was Big Cass and Gallows and Anderson. They had Big Show's hands and they put it in between the shark cage to make it seem like his hand got broken.
Oh, all right. So they're working an injury angle on Big Show.
Yeah. So
to make it look more feasible that he would lose.
Yeah. What do you say, Pat?
I'd say Big Show.
Okay. All right.
I'd say Big Show.
Speaking of Enzo Amore, we'll play it next week since we're running out of time here. Simon Gotch, who was released from the Vaudevillains, actually shoots really bad on Enzo. Pretty much calls him out saying that he doesn't know the wrestling business. And Earl's got to get your thoughts on that next week. So
yeah, I want to. I'll look. I'll send me a link or something. I want to see that.
Yeah, I'll send you the audio. Next up, we got the New Day defending the SmackDown Tag Titles against the Usos in a rematch from last month.
Oh, the New Day.
The New Day, yep.
I could see the belt going back to the Usos. I think they might have to say
No,
to.
I don't
Belt.
only because I see Dean and Seth winning, and the Usos, I don't think they would do 2 title switches. One of them's gonna retain, but I see your logic there. One of the belts would swap from the tag side. Next, we got Orton against Rusev in a whatever fucking feud, I guess you want to call it.
I could honestly care less, but I'll go with Rusev because I don't like Orton.
Let's be honest. Even if you don't like him, you know who's going over.
Of
Orton.
course, I just in a perfect world, he'd lose.
Yeah. I think they'll go with Orton.
Okay.
What do you say, Pat?
Orton.
Does what's her
Okay.
name still manage Rusev?
No.
Oh,
She's
okay.
actually
Wrestling on her own now.
she's actually
all right.
wrestling. Yeah, she's wrestling now. Not that great, but she's wrestling.
I love how you said she's wrestling. Not that great, but she's wrestling.
Yep.
I think she's not the worst performer.
She botches
not
a
the-
little bit though.
She
does
botches
botch.
a little bit, but she's not Eva Marie bad.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Now I totally get it.
Yeah, and also, Earl, speaking of which, they did let go of Eva Marie.
I know.
Yeah. I didn't know if you did, but yeah,
Yeah, I heard about it.
Okay.
A friend of mine messaged me and said, "Oh, guess what happened?" I said, "Yeah, okay, that's sad."
So this will be one of the best matches of the night. You got AJ Styles defending the U.S. title against Kevin Owens, and Shane McMahon is the special guest referee.
Oh wow. AJ's defending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll retain. He'll retain over Owens.
Yep. I hope it wouldn't be, it'd be fucked up if they actually did a heel turn with Shane.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, because they had that match at Mania.
Oh yeah.
You know what?
But you
Still-
know what? They were pretty smart in the past couple weeks. They were using a lot of continuity. They actually brought that up, and then Owens was like, "Oh, if you think that's bad," and then he showed all the times Shane fucked people over as a referee.
Yeah, they showed a clip from 1998 Survivor Series where during the Deadly Game tournament where Steve Austin was about to pin Mick Foley for the win. Shane comes in as the ref 1-2 and then flips the bird to screw over Austin. And they actually showed the clip on SmackDown. So they're actually sticking with storyline continuity on the
that's
SmackDown
cool.
end, that is. So, I would think in the WWE logic, they're gonna just wind up having AJ Styles retain, which is not bad, but I would be pretty happy in a way if they did turn Shane heel and screw over AJ, because at least it's a interesting storyline. And then you could do the heel Commissioner Shane, and then the face GM Daniel Bryan, and tease some storyline between them. There's more of a dynamic you could do there. But next up for the Cruiserweight title, we got Akira Tozawa, managed by Titus O'Neil, who's now the Cruiserweight champion, against Neville.
I want to see Neville go over.
Neville just lost the belt on Monday.
Oh well. All right. Well, there's nothing wrong with seeing him getting it back.
Neville lost the belt on a freaking Raw.
Yeah, he did.
What?
I don't fucking know.
They literally buried. They buried.
You know why? Because
Oh, my-
Because they're doing. I see a lot of title switches on this pay-per-view, and WWE for some reason doesn't like doing that on a pay-per-view, which it's SummerSlam. You fucking should. And I think they were like, hey, let's just do a title switch on a Monday, as opposed to the pay-per-view. But WWE logic. I see. I probably would see Tozawa retaining in a fuck finish somehow. I see Titus O'Neil getting involved.
This makes no sense because they literally buried Austin Aries for months.
Oh, I know.
And he could have won it on a WrestleMania. You had
I know.
Neville's been champion for so freaking long in that division, and you just have him lose on a freaking Monday night. He's one of the top heels in the company.
I screamed at my TV enough. I got pretty pissed off, and Austin Aries pretty much ignored it, which I was like, all right, you know, that's how he feels. I'm just gonna fucking shut up. Next up, we got Jinder Mahal defending the WWE title against Shinsuke Nakamura. I said it before. I see Shinsuke winning.
Me too. Nakamura.
I got a feeling Jinder's gonna go over.
Well, he pretty much shipped back Nakamura to Japan, or you know, pretty much classify him as dead in the water if he's gonna lose to a guy that fucking.
Well, you know
lost
what? Vince, I heard Vince is pissed off at Nakamura because of the fucking strong style. Because he thought he's reckless.
Oh yeah. Too bad in pro wrestling, you're responsible for your own bump. That CENA just took a bad bump. You know, that's not Nakamura's fault.
Exactly.
Not in the least. Next up, we got Alexa Bliss defending the Raw Women's title against Sasha Banks.
Sasha Banks.
No. Alexa's not giving up her belt to Sasha. They actually have a legitimate heat.
Oh, sweet.
Yep. Yeah, Sasha says that Alexa Bliss can't even tell the difference between the Hardy Boys.
Damn.
Yep. So yeah, so there's actual heat there. Let's see. I see Bliss actually retaining. Again, next up we got for the SmackDown Women's title, Naomi against Natalya. I think Naomi's retaining.
Okay. I mean, I'd like to see Natalya get it, but I
would like to too. I would like to too, but I think they're gonna keep it on Naomi. Unfortunately.
I don't think so.
So you see Natalya going over?
No, I don't see either one. I think Carmella's going to cash in.
Oh, fuck, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
I keep forgetting she has the briefcase, if that's sad to say.
She's going to cash in. Because I don't think they're going to do two failed Money in the Bank cash-ins.
That's true. Yeah, they would. They certainly wouldn't do it twice.
But here's the thing: they're not gonna have the fucking cash-ins. You know, you're not gonna have two cash-ins in 1 week. They don't do that. They're gonna wait a little while.
But they could though, because they could, and the fans might think, oh, okay, well, she's gonna come in and she's gonna drop the ball and she won't win, but then she does. You know, kind of like as again, another swerve.
True.
You know? Don't be surprised if it happens. Don't be surprised if you see her come out.
Okay.
You know?
Alright. I guess now we get to the main event, which I'm actually really... this is the most interest I've had for this Raw title in probably since it's been created. You know, for the WWE Universal title, Brock Lesnar is defending against Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, and Samoa Joe. And if Brock loses the belt, he says he's leaving the company. And there's a lot of rumors that he would go back to UFC to fight John Jones.
Okay, I would love to see Samoa Joe get the title. So I'm gonna go with Samoa Joe.
I'm okay with Joe or Braun Strowman winning the belt.
Okay.
But as a fan who's I've been a fan of this guy for about 13 years since I've seen him in Ring of Honor, I'd be more happier for Joe. But Braun is one of my current favorites too. So I'd say either or as a fan. But who I think they would go with, I think they would go with Braun Strowman.
All right. What do you think, Pat?
I hate to say it, but
I know you're gonna.
You know. Who does Vince have a hard on for? Roman.
Yeah, he really does.
Yeah. So Roman's been losing. He's been on a losing streak for a while. And Braun Strowman came up on top of that whole feud. So, to be honest, I'd have to say Roman. I don't want to see it. I'd rather see Braun Strowman. I'd rather see Samoa Joe. Both those guys are awesome. Joe looked like $1,000,000, and even though he lost in the Great Balls of Fire match against Brock, he looked amazing. But Roman's going to want to get his win back.
Yeah.
Plus, that would set up for any type of feud later on, because then they're gonna do another like switch up with the talent again, right? In the next couple of months.
Oh yeah, they're claiming that they're gonna do another shake-up, move guys from brand to brand, which I think is a bad idea.
So who's gonna be going to Raw, so they can have their big climactic showdown in WrestleMania.
Oh yeah.
So it's gonna be. I'm betting you right now. Next year's WrestleMania, and it's probably gonna be his final match ever. It's probably gonna be Roman versus John Cena.
You think Cena's gonna hang it up at 41 years old?
He's been talking about it. Yeah, he's been saying his days are numbered.
Yeah, he's been seriously talking about it for a while.
Oh man, you know what? We've been wanting, a lot of people, and wrestling fans online have been wanting Cena gone for years. Now it's actually happening. I'm like, can you stay a little longer? Because we don't like the guy that's coming after you.
Yeah, exactly. It's always best to stay with the devil that you know.
It's like how you had all those people that are like, fuck Obama, and then Trump got into office and like, no, don't go, you were a good president.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least with you, Korea just didn't like us.
They don't actively want to nuke us.
Yeah.
So are you, what you were trying to say here is Barack Obama was John Cena and Trump is Roman Reigns?
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah,
sure.
That's about right.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
In a parallel universe, John Cena is Barack Obama and Roman Reigns is Donald Trump.
That means when I get in the ring and I do my half flip, it's going to be huge, okay? I'm going to do the Superman punch. It's going to be unbelievable. I'm going to do the Superman punch. I'm going to go over. It's going to be great. Believe me, it's going to be unbelievable.
It's great. They have the same catchphrase, believe me, believe that.
Yeah. See, they're the same person.
Well, so Baron Corbin's Mike Pence then.
I mean, we did say a while ago that the Sheik is Mike Pence, but yeah, I guess we could go with that too.
If we're going by current superstars, then that's pretty much who they are.
Well, yeah. Mike Pence does have the same facial affects as Baron Corbin, which is known. So yeah, that makes sense.
Oh no.
Alright, well, let's take it home, boys.
Alright, Pat, find us an outro. And while Pat does that, we'll get some plugs out of the way here.
Yeah.
Let's see, Chad Flatt, from the Pro Wrestling Weekly. You can find him at the fanspodcast.com. Also, too, I feel really bad, and you would probably know before me. I believe Shro has a podcast? Or he's a part of one?
I think so. I haven't heard anything yet. That's kind of why I've been keeping it quiet, because I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
I'll message Rob and find out.
Yeah, because, I mean, I've been meaning to plug it. I haven't had the chance to see if he has one. I think he does have something. It's like WCW Retro. It's like a retro show or whatever.
It is I've heard about it, but I don't know if it's even debuted yet or not. So I don't know yet. But I will find out.
Yeah, I'm trying to look.
You know what the crazy thing is? I just realized. Where's the Intercontinental Belt in this major pay-per-view?
Oh yeah, that's right. The Miz isn't defending. That's right.
How sad would it be if that was like the? How sad would that be? Good call, Pat. How sad would it be if that was like the pre-show match? You know, because they've done it. Well, they have done it before.
Oh, you know what? They probably did it because they're doing the whole Jason Jordan, Kurt Angle, BS.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, I did find. All right, it's WCW Retro with the Stro on VOCVocNation.com.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Well, you know his movie's on Netflix right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep. So be sure and check it out too.
And also we got our friends Wrestling Soup. They're on Mixler at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Thursday night, as well as on iTunes and Stitcher. And you could find us at also too. If anyone's wondering what's going on with Edgewise Radio, pretty much, like I said last week, we're still a part of Edgewise Radio, but there's a lot of legal shit going on right now. Pretty much, people aren't getting paid, and licenses and all that's getting fucked up. So there's like a retooling process. So we will be back. So anyone who is a fan of Edgewise Radio, please find us on here. And Twitter, you can find all of us. I'm on there at Eric the Red 211. You got JR Earl's Art and Mr. Bonesaw as the official KTR complaint page. So any complaints you have about the show, gripe it up with him.
And I'll tell you to eat a dick.
Yep. And then
don't ever give away the punchline, bro.
And then of course we got our YouTube page, Kayfabe Talk Radio. We need to get over 100 subscribers in order to get our actual YouTube channel labeled as Kayfabe Talk Radio. So please get the likes up, get the subscribes up, and until next time, guys. This is Eric the Red reminding you, on behalf of everybody else on part of our little universe, to keep it kayfabe.
Damn good too, but you can't be any geek off the street. Gotta be handy with the steel, if you know what I mean. Earn your keep.
Regulators, mount up. It was a clear black night, a clear white moon. Warren G was on the streets trying to consume some skirts for the E, so I could get some